What's up guys, Coach Jameson. Today we're just gonna do a quick little recode, 20, 30 minutes, nothing major, blocks, mats, a band for a little bit later on to add some more resistance and tension as we work into the backside. So let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna start in a tabletop position. I'm actually going to a side view for you here. And from our tabletop position, I want knees directly under the hips, shoulders right above the hands. And we're just gonna set here, make sure the toes are together, heels are pressing out, and I'm gonna think of gently ripping the knees apart. I'm gonna think of gently rolling my shoulders and pulling them down away from my ears as I pull my chin and throat straight back up towards the ceiling. So notice my gaze isn't up. I'm not flexing and tucking my chin towards my chest. I'm just pulling my chin and throat straight back, imagining that something is pulling the crown of my head forward and long, and my tailbone is reaching in that opposite direction. So I have tailbone reaching back, top of the head reaching above, shoulders gently pulling down. That's gonna help me find more length through the neck. And then I'm just gently ripping my knees apart on the mat, creating a little isometric so I have some pressure and engagement in the glutes to keep my hips anchored back. Now, as we start to sit here, I just want you to start to tap into the breath. Big inhales through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Just start tuning into the breath. Kind of check in with the body. We can make little adjustments at the hips. Again, I don't want to be hyperextended and really compressing that low back. And I don't want to be in a flexed position. Kind of find your nice center point. A good image to have in your head is think of a nice little J spine. So I have that little tailbone pointing up to the sky. I'm not rounded and flexed into the upper spine. I'm just kind of neutral. I am gently pressing my hands down, so my shoulder blades are gently pulling apart as I gently pull my shoulders away from the ear. I'm imagining hands pulling down towards my knees. We're going to be here for like one more minute. And as we continue to inhale and tap in here and exhale, I want you to just check in with your body, see how everything's feeling today. See if you notice any spots of tension. You can focus the breath there. And again, we're not frozen right now. We're just breathing, and I'm thinking of a little bit of decompression, lengthening the spine. Again, head reaching one way, tailbone reaching the other. I have these little tension cues of pulling my palms down towards my knees, ripping my knees apart, shoulders pulling down, chin and throat back. As you inhale, I want you to do your best to focus more breath into the back space, sides of the ribs, in between the shoulder blades. Seeing if you can feel a little bit of expansion with each excessive inhale. As we exhale, I want you to feel the engagement of the core. Try to really maintain that in order to pull more breath into that back space. So just 2 more rounds of breath here. Good. From here, we're going to start bringing some movement into this. I'm going to have you shift your hips to that right side, sit back to the right. This can be as deep as you want or as shallow as you want. So we're going to sit back. We're going to come forward, shift the hips to those left side or to the left side, and then sit back. So we're going to do some little side-to-side rockers. So you see, you have the option of sitting back to one side, coming forward, going to the opposite, and sitting back. Another variation of this we can do is sitting back, rolling over to the right side, come out just a little bit, sit back, roll to the left. So go ahead and play with both variations. See what's feeling better in your body. Again, we always want to feed into those green lights, those good sensations. Now we're going to start adding a little bit of a spinal movement to this. So as we rock the hips back, Sway over the other side. Now we're going to come forward. We're going to go into some flexion into that spine. Start side bending to the right as the hips move to the left. We may start sitting back, and as we start sitting back, we start finding that extension into the spine. And we're going to work this one direction. Inhaling as we extend. Exhaling as we come into flexion. Don't expect to look like me your first time doing this. It takes a little bit of time to find that fluidity within the spine that we've kind of lost from years of sitting and midline stabilization. You can go as fast or as slow as you like with this motion. And we're just playing with the spirals and rotations in the body, in the spine, the hips. Even notice as I'm going through this, the rotation going on into the shoulders. Now we're going to switch directions. So go the opposite way that we started. So we're getting a lot of good movement into all the joints, the major joints of the body, the shoulders, the spine, the hips, the knees and ankles are even getting good motion and input here. Good. From here, let's make our way to center. We're going to go into one last little form of decompression. We're going to go into like a nice little lateral side bend. Again, stretching into a lateral flexion and extension. We're going to do just a minute of this on each side with breath. We're going to focus breath into the side that we're lengthening. So let's start on the center of our mat. The best way to set this up is if you are on one yoga mat, I got two together. You're going to think of taking your feet, and in this case, we'll start walking them over to our right side. So you can see my feet are coming over. Left foot is going to stack inside the arch of the opposite. And then with this left leg, I'm thinking a big internal rotation. So I'm trying to rotate that kneecap in, press the thigh down. From here, I'm going to side bend towards this side, find my lat a little bit, reach and get really long on this left side. Just starting my timer here. We're going to go 1 minute. As we get set, forehead or cheek can come to the mat. Just a full minute again, breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Just observing now along that whole left side that we're finding length across, maybe where we have some lines of tension. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. Maybe you're feeling this a little bit more towards the shoulder or the pec or the armpit lat area. Maybe you're feeling it across the whole side of the ribs. Maybe you can even find a nice release into that hip with that internal rotation of that left thigh. Keeping that left knee down. You can gently press the knee and foot down on that left side. We're still doing our best to focus our breath into the sides of the ribs, upper back, and then isolate it a little bit more to that left side. It's really nice to use the breath to breathe in and release the tissues. After this exhale, we're going to slowly transition out of this. Take your time. You don't need to rush. And we're just going to walk our feet again. Notice my hips are going to stay centered, so I get this nice little half moon shape with my body that I'm aiming for. So make sure when we do this, you're not walking your hips over too. We just want to walk the feet over. Big internal rotation out of that right thigh, dropping it on the top of that left arch. Left arm now pulls down, side bend. See if you can even find that lat a little bit, that little coiling to the left side. Right arm is going to reach up and across. Slowly lower forehead or cheek to the mat. And then again, slowly focus the breath into that right side. And of course, just observe the differences you're noticing. If one side feels like it's holding more tension, or just if the tension's in different areas of the body on this side. And we're just taking note of it. Again, focusing now that internal rotation of that right thigh, gently pressing the thigh, knee, or foot down into the mat. Again, wherever you're getting the best sensation, whatever's feeling best in your body. The last thing we want to do is hold on to more tension here. Last full inhale and exhale. Exhale, we'll slowly release. Make our way back to center. We're going to come up to tabletop, start bringing a little bit of movement into this now. Just grab your blocks if you want. Again, these aren't needed. I just like elevating my hands because I feel like with my rockers, it can pull me more into that back space where I want. Again, as we do rockers here, main focus of this, opening up ankles, knees, hips, but also to start inputting the pattern of keeping the hips back when we're operating throughout the day, standing, walking, and moving around. Again, most of us are operating from this hips forward position. So the more rockers we do, the more inputting into the body to keep the hips back. And then as we get deeper into these rockers here, we'll start really pressurizing and tensioning that backside, just working a little bit more glute and hammy activation. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do now is just start ripping my knees apart. So I'm imagining ripping the mat apart with my knees. It's nice, like a nice little isometric. Should move a little bit more tension towards that lateral backside. And then once you find that, your goal is to keep a nice, smooth, controlled motion. Find the shortest range of motion you can while staying into that pressure in the backside. So again, some of us might be going through a little bit more of a bigger range. As you notice, my range is getting a little bit smaller. Notice the shape of my spine. Again, we're trying to maintain a J-shaped spine. Make sure that we're not operating from a flexed spine as we rock here. Some of you will notice as you sit the hips a little bit deeper back, that tailbone will want to tuck. Find that end range point and try to keep that tailbone up to the sky. This is going to really help open up those hamstrings. Just a few more reps here. Always doing your best to stay with the breath from where we started, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, keeping that volume up. Allow that breath to be a guide to keep us focused and keep good intention through this session. Good. Now as we rock here, we're going to add our little kick out. So I sit back, same motion, come forward. I'm internally rotating the thighs, kicking the feet out, and notice the heels are staying out. Pay attention and be aware of this pattern. This is going to be a very common thing. So you might have to really work to keep those toes in. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge motion. The further you try to internally rotate and get this pattern, the more those feet are going to want to kick out. So you might even feel those arches working a lot, giving you little cramps. Totally normal. I'm kind of working the same pressure here. So as I sit back, I'm thinking knees pull apart. As I come forward, I'm really thinking those feet pull apart, finding the outer edge of my shins on the mat to add a little bit of resistance. Five, 4, 3, 2, beautiful. Let's tuck the toes. We're going to tuck our toes now. We're going to go into our deep squat. Again, keep some blocks around, maybe a little weight or kettlebell is going to help if you can't access heels all the way down here. So strong toe tuck position, Give yourself a little bit more space between the feet here, especially if you know you got tight hips. As we work into this again, if your heels can't get down, not a big deal, but really big focus on second toe straight, a little bit more pressure towards that outer edge. And don't just try to throw yourself into this. If you can't access it fully, it's okay to have the heels up, because again, I want the main focus to be our nice, strong feet. That second toe straight, lots of pressure, shoveling to that outer edge. Again, if the heels got to come up, they can come up. Big thing I want to pay attention to when I'm down here, a lot of you will notice, again, everything's kind of wanting to pull forward. So you might be in this position. Let's do our best to pull knees, hips back, knees open, arms between the knees. And then if you can access those heels down, we'll go all the way down. A few more seconds here, and then we're gonna go right up into our forward fold. A little bit more active. We're gonna hold this for a minimum 2 minutes right now, and we're gonna take this into our squinging motion. With the squinging, what I want you to pay attention to is notice the similarity of the squinging pattern we go into, and it's very similar to our rocker with kick out. Our rockers with kick outs, we're working thighs open, thighs close, out to in, external to internal from our tabletop position. When we take it onto the 2 feet, it's the same thing. We're working an open to close pattern, but with less points of support. All right, so let's go into that forward fold. Again, if you can't access straight legs, palms to the floor, elevate your surface, elevate the floor, bring it up to you. Easiest way is with yoga blocks, because again, we have some different levels. We can start with that third setting, that tallest setting. If you find like, hey, I can maintain straight legs here and get here easily, drop to the second. If you can still get there, drop to the first. I always like just going to the blocks right at the beginning as I begin to work into this forward fold. Again, this is going to be active. I'm not just passively hanging out here. I'm keeping active, strong feet. So again, that second toe straight. I'm keeping my nice, strong arches here. So again, really thinking of anchoring to that outer edge of the foot and lifting that arch from the inner edge. And then lastly, I'm thinking of gently, again, ripping the floor apart, creating that isometric. And now my thighs, shins are rotating in. If you look down at your knees, they should be slightly pointing across each other. If for some reason those cues give you pinching into the hips or you're getting just some red light sensations, don't worry about focusing on the internal rotation so much. Just think of actively ripping the feet apart, keeping the arches strong, and then finding those little internal rotation from the hips. The ankles, again, these are acting as a little ball and socket joint too. We're getting that tibia to rotate inwards. If you're getting any sort of shakes or trembling here, that's totally fine. Again, that's a good sign. That means we're staying a little more active and not just passively releasing into the tissues. Just another 30 seconds here. Let that head release. Think of that string anchoring the top back side of the head down towards the floor. You might be able to get some good stretching in the thoracic with that. All right, from here, if you had your hands on the floor, let's grab your blocks, use a little bit of support again. We're gonna go into our squinging, squat to hinge. So let's tiptoe, heel the feet out just a little bit wider. If you need to, you can keep them close if we got the full access. Now, our thighs, shins are spinning in. Let's start rotating open. Really keep the hips back. This is why I want the blocks for a little counterbalance. We sit, if you have access to your deep squat, you're in your deep squat. And then we're gonna go right back up into that hinge. So everything is back and out. Now we're gonna go up and in. So the hips are gonna pull up to the sky, shins, thighs rotate in. We go into that full hinge. Now, if you don't have access to your deep squat when you get down, we can allow those heels to come up a little bit, totally fine. The main thing I'm paying attention to here is my knees. So as I go into the squat, I don't want knees driving forward coming here. I wanna keep hips back, knees back, a lot of weight back so I can keep into the glutes and hammies. This is going through the full range. If you want, you can work little baby squinges, open, close, open, close. Squat, hinge, squat, hinge. Again, notice knees aren't coming here. I'm keeping everything back. Just 30 more seconds here. So again, you can work through whatever range you like. This is a very great flossing motion for the hips. Again, just setting your timer and working for time here is huge. You can hold the squat or the hinge however long you like. Last one. Let's come all the way down. Kick our blocks off to the side. Let's go ahead. We're going to go into a couple little feet things before we come back up to standing. So let's sit on our butt. Feet are going to be straight out in front of us, pulling those toes up towards the shins. And now from here, I want you to find a fist foot. You're going to squeeze your foot as strong as you can, trying to find medial arch, lateral arch, making sure the big toes are in a little bit closer than the heels. Hands can kind of go wherever you feel comfortable. We're going to squeeze and open. As you squeeze, again, notice I'm not pointing. I'm keeping my feet pointed up towards the sky. We're going to squeeze for 3, 2, 1, open. 3, 2, 1, open. 3, 2, 1, open. Good. As you're doing this, find your own count. And then what I want you to focus on, almost imagine like we're trying to create and find a six-pack on that bottom of the foot. Again, that arch is there for a reason. We need to reestablish the strength in that arch so we're not collapsing and dumping into that inside edge of the foot. Again, something that's just very common from having arch support our whole life. So we need to redevelop the strength in that foot. All the muscles of the foot. We got 20 plus muscles down there. And we used to joke around back in the day when I was learning this stuff with me and a few coaches. We'd say the arch is the new bicep. That's something we want to build as opposed to this vanity muscle of the bicep. We're so worried about getting bigger and stronger because of how it appears. Let's put that same emphasis into the feet. And we need that because they've been trapped in shoes for a very long time. So it's not something we just get back right away. It's something we have to consistently work for. And I say this out of my own experience. I've been working on my feet and foundation for a long time and they still need work. It's been a 10-year process if I include when I first started yoga because I think that's what started helping me open up my feet to where they're at today. 3, 2, let's get one more. Squeeze, hold, find it, keep that fist. We're just gonna go 20 seconds now. Point, pull, point, pull, point, pull. As you point, trying to keep that fist foot as best you can. I know it's hard. Again, if you're cramping, try your best to push through it. If you need to stop at any point to shake the feet out, go ahead and do so as well. You know, honor the body and what it's feeling. If the sensation of that cramp is telling you like, this is intense, I gotta get out, get out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, we're gonna go right onto our back. Do one more little foot thing here. We're gonna lay all the way back. Grab just behind the legs. I want you to pull the toes towards the shins. We're gonna make big circles so the toes are gonna come in towards each other, point, roll out, and in. We're just gonna work 20 seconds this way. And the goal, I want you to go as slow and controlled as you can. Notice how little control you have of your feet because we've just hidden them away in our shoes for a long time. So if you find that this is a struggle, play with it. Opposite direction. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Big toes are going to come in towards each other. Pull the toes towards the shins, so your feet should be making a little A shape. We're going to pump the feet now. Point, pull, point, pull, point, pull. At this point, you should be really feeling the front of the shins. I'm getting some good trembling in there today. Again, find that breath. When things start to get a little hard, tune into that breath. 3, 2, hold. Pull the toes towards those big toes towards the shins, nice and strong. Again, you can see I'm shaking here. I know this is tough. Should be really feeling the front side of that shin, that tibialis. 3, 2, 1. 15 more seconds. Point, pull. Fast, fast. Work through that little discomfort. I know there's a good burning sensation, maybe top of the foot, front of the ankle, front of the shin. 4, 3, 2, and relax. Good work. Shake it out. Let's come back up. We're going to grab our band now. Get a little more juicy right now, so let's bring that band up above the knees. We'll come into our tabletop position, back into our rocker position. If you want your blocks, grab your blocks. Good. Now, as opposed to that isometric of ripping the mat apart, now we got this band to press into. And we're just going to start with our normal rockers again, so you can start finding that tension. Notice how the resistance of the bands helps you find that back chain a little quicker. How I like working this is as I sit back, I try to rip that band apart. As I come forward, I release that tension a little bit. Again, notice the shape of the spine, a nice controlled movement. I'm not just bouncing in and out of this. Stay with that breath. 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, I'm going to take this into a single side. So I'm going to shift my feet over to the right just slightly. Walk my blocks over to the left. I'm going to find good support. And I'm going to just start now rocking into this left side. All my weight is now on my left shin, my left foot. Again, notice the similarities. This is very similar to our normal rocker. I'm now just taking it to one side. You should be able to get into this left glute really quick since we're already working the regular rocker. We're going to go into a little hold here in a second. 4, 3, 2. Good. If you have blocks, we're going to take them to their third setting. We're going to come to our fingertips. Now I got both knees down. I'm going to start getting my right side really, really light. It doesn't have to be off the ground. I'm going to make most of my weight come towards that left shin and foot. Slowly float the hands up. Hands can come to the chest. Shoulders gently pulling back. Chins gently pulling back. So again, I'm finding that length. This left side for me is already really lit up. So find that support from this left glute, left hammy, left column. Breathe. Strong exhales, finding that core engagement. Slowly start to sit back in that left hip just a little bit deeper. Ooh-wee, here we go. 4, 3, 2. Slowly lower the hands back down. Last 30 seconds on this side. We're going to go right into our little kick outs. Single side rocker with the kick out. So again, open, we sit back, close, it kicks in, feet go out. You should really be into this left glute now. My left glute is on fire. That's why you see me going nice and slow. Really getting the last juiciness out of these reps. 5, 4, 3, 2, nice, go. We're gonna switch sides. If you need a quick little break, go and sit the hips all the way back. Can rock the hips side to side. Let that left side cool off a little bit. I know mine got pretty intense there. I'm gonna give you guys a full side view for this next set onto the right side. Actually, let me just set up straight in front of you so you can see how I like to set up this single side rocker. I walk my blocks over slightly to the right so they kind of, you can see my thigh in between the two blocks, so I don't want the blocks way over here. Again, not that that would be wrong. This is just how I like to set up to really get into the back side. So my blocks come over to the right, right hand's back a little bit further than the left so I can work my little bit of a side bend. And then my feet kick over to my left side. Now I find all my weight onto this right shin, right foot. I can even think of pressing that right shin and foot down. My left knee can stay up or it can just stay lightly down. That's up to you. And then we start pulling back into that right side. As I sit into that right side, notice I get that little side bend to the right. Again, we can play with these shoulder rotations we were messing with in the beginning of the recode. So as I sit back, right shoulder is going to open, left shoulder is going to close just a little bit. Again, from the front side here, you can see how my head is right in line with my right thigh. I'm not way over here. I'm pulling my hips straight back, so I'm not rocking. This is a mistake some of us will make, is we get set up for that single side rocker, but I'm still rocking into both sides. So again, notice, eyes and chest are forward. I'm pulling my hips straight back with my feet kicked in just a little bit here. Just a few more seconds. I'll give you another view here from the side just so you could see. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We'll bring the blocks to their tallest setting. Right hand comes to the chest. We open up towards that right side. A lot of weight and pressure into this right shin, right foot, finding that right side. And I want you to get as tall as you can here first without bringing that hip forward. Keeping this hip back, keeping a nice long J-shaped spine. Finding those decomp breaths we started with. Again, on the exhale, thinking of really keeping this tight up front. As I inhale, breathing more into that back space. As you're set, if you're pressurized here, you can start pulling that hip back and out, opening up to this right side. Breathe. Eyes are always forward. We're not looking down to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hands come back down to the blocks. We'll go right into our kickouts now. Again, rotating open out to in. External, internal. It's our load and release pattern. Five, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good. Let's go ahead and release that. Sit all the way back. Again, if you need to cool down just a little bit, rock those hips side to side. Have you slowly start making your way to your butt to get this band off. And then we're going to finish here with a little tummy time. Quick little tummy time activation, back to a decompression to end kind of how we started. So let me move my mats just a little bit. I want to give you guys a good view of this one. From this side, I think will be a little bit better. So we're going to start on our stomach. I want the toes tucked. So if you notice, toes are pulling up towards my shins. I'm thinking of this internal rotation of the thighs. So if you look back at your heels should be pointing away from each other. Give yourself about 2 fist widths, maybe a little bit more between the feet. Find as strong of a toe tuck as you can. Rotate those thighs in, heels go out, knees press down. This is gonna be a common thing you're gonna have to keep telling yourself. Everyone really likes to lift their knees here, really contract and squeeze into those thighs. I want the knees pressing down. Notice the harder you press your knees down, the more it kind of pulls that butt back. So again, whatever feels best in your body is what you're gonna play with. Maybe a little pressure, maybe you need to put a little bit more. With the toes tucked, we're gonna bring the hands back by the shoulders. I want the elbows up and pointing back. Shoulders are pulling back. We're gonna find a lot of length through the neck here. Anyone dealing with neck issues, tech neck stuff, this is gonna be really good for you. Again, I'm gonna put my nose to the mat, pull my chin and throat and nose straight back away from the mat. Shoulders are pulling down, chin and throat back, top of the head really extending long. Lastly, palms are pressing into the ground. And if you look at this motion, I get a little bit of movement pulling myself forward with this little isometric. I readjust, pull the toes up a little bit more, and then come back into my breath. We're gonna take one more breath here, and then on the next exhale, we're gonna lift our thighs, knees, feet off the mat while keeping the toes up and the thighs in. Here we go, big inhale. Exhale. Thighs lift, knees lift, feet lift. Big internal rotation. Toes pull up strong, keep pulling yourself forward to find length. Notice I'm already shaking today. Good, on your next inhale, extend arms. Go into a full extension, full Superman here. Two more breaths. Last full inhale. Exhale, slowly release, turn your cheek to one side. Hands down by the sides, palms up to the ceiling. Go ahead and rock out a little bit. Just check in with the body. See how all that movement felt. Again, don't rush out of anything. Always check in after we do movements. Get the feedback from the body. Turn your cheek to the other side. Good work today, everyone. Thank you for following along, for supporting my work and this channel. Thank yourselves for moving today. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You're the ones that showed up and did the work. Yes, I made this video, but you had to show up and do it. So thank yourselves for putting in the work, for taking control of your life and your body and doing what you can to move better throughout life.